Hello, buddy. Welcome back to Tin Man's Core Channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor, and today I'm going to finish off my chapter out of my Bigfoot Terror Tales Vol.1 book called In the Forest of the Far Land. So here we go. Each of the great brutes stood far taller than the tallest men in our village, and thick, slabbed with muscle, they ran upright, but not in the way that some animals reared up on their stubby hind legs. The Saskatchewan ran upright on long legs like ours, ran with a lumbering, loping stride. They had long arms as well, with enormous long-fingered hands. They were covered head to foot in pelts, of course, hair dark and shaggy, matted, filthy, and snagged with burrs. Their faces were lumpy and hideous, as if half formed out of dung and mud and moldy dough. Ugh. That's one way to draw a picture of a ugly-looking Bigfoot creature, that's for sure. Their eyes were yellowish, wild with fury. I thought of war stories my father had told of the berserkers, men swallowed up by a battle frenzy. I thought of legends of cursed men who became bears by moonlight. I thought of the tale Thorkin and Fentress had mentioned. Then I thought no more, because the nearest of the Sakachawata was upon me. There were ugly, clotted wounds upon its body, and I knew with no doubt this was the very one who slaughtered my family. I thought no more, because Icewind thought for me. Icewind leaped and slashed, and my arm went with the sword. A blow rang my head like a smith's hammer. If not for my father's bright helm, my skull might have split open from the force of it. I ducked and dodged, danced and darted, while Icewind stabbed and cut and stabbed again. Blood sprayed. My foe roared his hatred at me, roared it into my face on a hot and rancid gust of breath. I drove Icewind straight into its stinking, gaping mouth. The blade scraped along teeth and sank into the back of the monster's throat. Oh, man, I know that Bigfoot creature's going to be letting out a yell, or it's going to die from having too many cut injuries in the throat. Coughing up blood, too, probably. More blood gushed out, and a torrent of red, a flood, soaking me. I shouted with triumph as the giant toppled. It thudded to the ground, gurgling and choking. I looked to see how the others fared, and my triumph turned to dust. Engulfed, struggled in the grip of one of the Sakachawata. I saw him slam his own forehead into the monster's face, its thick arms bunch and squeeze. I did not hear the crack of his spine, but I imagined it. Then Ingolf went limp, and the beast shook him like a dog with a rag and flung his corpse aside. Thorkin, I did not want to accept what my mind told me. It was seeing Thorkin lay on the ground. He should have been facing away from me, but his head had been twisted around on his shoulders, so his wide eyes stared surprised into mine. Nitawosu wailed, cowering, clutching her baby to her bosom. A beast swept its gigantic hand, but Gunther was there, protecting her. I saw his mother's silver bracelet flash in the hazy sunshine. The scraggling woman ran away into the forest. Gunther rammed up with his spear. The sharp bronze point gouged through hair and flesh, and the Sachicawacha bellowed. It caught him by his silver bracelet wrist and gave such a wrench that Gunther's arm tore off at the shoulder. Ah! Just as the hero in that old tale had done to the monster that raided the king's hall, I saw Fenborn with his back against a tree trunk, two of the Sachicawacha trying to get at him, but he chopped hard with his axe each time they reached near. Chunks of their severed fingers plopped into the dirt. He was bleeding from a split scalp. It's making my head hurt just thinking about that. Turning his fair hair to a solid scarlet mess, I gave a loud shout and raced to him. Fentress leaped upon the beast as if she meant to ride it, clenching its shaggy sides between her knees. From each of her fists sprouted a knife, her own leaf-bladed one, and the chipped stone dagger she'd taken from the dead scraggling girl. She plunged both into the sides of the beast's neck, screaming with rage. It reached up and over, snared her by the tunic, and with its last ebon string hurled her headlong into the same tree her brother stood against. I heard the crunch and saw how the life fled from her, scattering like a flock of startled sparrows. Fenboard howled her name. He became like a berserker then, his axe madly hacking at the Sachikawata, his injuries ignored. I joined him, and we fought them together in a red fury until suddenly there was nothing left to fight. 4 of them lay dead around us. The rest had retreated to the cover of the trees and waited there, hunkered low, wounded, watching to see if we were done for. I went to my knees and on my hand. My head was down, hair hanging, sweat tangled into my face. My breath hotly heaving in and out of my lungs. I felt the painful jab of broken ribs and could not even remember being hit. My helm was gone, and I could not remember losing it. I still held Icewind, as if my fingers might never unclench from the hilt. Fenmore collapsed near me. He looked at me, began to speak, vomiting up a river of blood. A moment later he died, his eyes still on mine. The Sachikawata stared and crept closer. I sank to the ground, kissed Icewind's sticky blade, and closed my eyes. I mourned for my friends, but it was a grief mingled with pride. We had proven ourselves. We had avenged our families. They had died as warriors, and I would not be following them just yet, because I heard another noise and rustle from the woods and knew, even before I turned my head and opened my eyes, what it was I would see. The Scragglins had come, a fierce hand of them, men armed with bows and stone axes, their brown skin painted with marks of red, yellow, and black. Stone-tipped arrows sank from bowstrings. The shriek and screech of their war cries filled the air as they brought battle to the Sachikawata. There were women and wise elders with them as well, led by Nitawulsa. They lifted me on a length of hide stretched between poles and carried me away to their village. They tended me and healed me. My friends had died as warriors. I would live among the Scragglins a while longer. Hope you guys enjoyed that story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications for more Bigfoot or book reading content like this in the future. This has been another successful installment of the Tin Man's Corner channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor. I say that's a wrap, and have a nice day, everybody.